We have Aditi Kinkhabwala joining us, and she's brought to us today by FanDuel. If you're a new customer and want to get in on any of the sports gambling action, the NFL offers on FanDuel stay red hot. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And with that, let's welcome in Aditi Kinkhabwala, the #1 sideline reporter in the entire NFL.
I gotta start you off with Didi to get you in there. I want your opinion on this too.
You're not going to ask my fence riding question? I don't get a vote.
Do it rapid fire after G's question.
Yes.
Let's rapid fire for Aditi the questions we've already asked.
Do you believe that there are times in a game where you can't make that call? You're like, hold on. You can't call me offsides right there. That you can't make that call or pass interference
on a Hail Mary.
And a Hail Mary. Do you believe it's the letter of law, or is it you got to wait to see what's going to happen during the game?
I'm going to put pass interference on a Hail Mary outside the box because that's a very unique situation, but I think you have to call everything consistently. If you don't call it in the first quarter, how can you call it in the fourth quarter? If you do 100%. Call it in the first quarter, how can you not call it in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
And that's what players
so right.
Every crew is different. Every official is different. That's why some teams hire officials to give scouting reports on the officiating crew they're about to see. What all you can ask for in a human endeavor like officiating is consistency.
Yeah, it's like an umpire changing his strike zone in the ninth inning.
Exactly.
You can't do that. And I think that was Mahomes' point. That was Reed's point. And Aditi,
I disagree on that. I think that was so far offsides, and Torrey Smith actually said it best. I mean, it was absurdly offsides. You're a grown man. If you don't know that you are that far offsides, and if you actually watch the film, he's not really checking. It's almost like, hey,
he just put his fist out. Yeah, he went through the motion, but he never got confirmation that he was okay. I was talking about the NFL film or the NFL Network segment. I don't know if you watched it, but their conclusion at the end of this long discussion after they showed play after play after play after play where he was lined up in what technically was past the line of scrimmage, one of the things they pointed out was that the Chiefs center was consistently moving the ball backwards a little bit, and it was almost not, I don't want to say a habit, but it wasn't uncommon for him to do that. They said that changed the line of scrimmage. They also found 3 or 4 instances where receivers for the other team during the game, Buffalo, were also just as offsides, and it wasn't called. So I think Reed and Mahomes' point is kind of what we're saying about the umpire calling strikes in the ninth inning of the game that weren't called strikes in the fourth, fifth, third inning of the game. Be consistent.
They've gotten the benefit of the doubt of a million calls.
Listen,
nobody feels sympathy for them.
No, and it's funny because Patrick Mahomes is one of the biggest benefactors of bad missed calls.
Yeah, exactly.
We won a Super Bowl for crying out loud on questionable calls.
That's right.
But all of that being said, I found it interesting that the league didn't find these guys because in the past, Aditi, correct me if I'm wrong, you whisper about a bad call and you were writing a check.
Oh, and I mean, how many times have we heard coaches say, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to be fined?
Exactly.
I think that this year the narrative about officiating has really just hit a fever pitch.
I agree.
And I don't know that it would be a very smart move to increase attention on officiating by meting out big fines that would then become headlines again.
It's definitely a change in policy by the league, for sure.
Aditi, we just did 5 fence rider questions. I'll ask them to you rapid fire. You give us the answer. You ready?
Okay. Here we go.
Number 1.
Ready.
Will Justin Fields have more rushing yards than any individual Browns running back this week?
No.
Okay. Number 2. Will Joe Flacco throw for more yards than Justin Fields has total yards, rushing and passing?
Yes. Although my guy Jaquan Brisker is with the Browns and he's a Pittsburgh guy and he was so cute to my kids. But anyway, still, yes. I'm on the Joe.
Number 3, will Myles Garrett snap his 3-game sackless skid?
Yes.
Number 4, will the Browns have 3 receivers? Oh, we didn't do this one.
We didn't get to that one. I skipped one to make sure we got DJ.
Should I give this one to Aditi or skip it?
Give it to
You
him.
can give it to her. We'll do it after.
Okay. Will the Browns have 3 receivers with at least 45 yards versus the Bears? 3, including tight ends. 3 pass catchers.
Does it have to be receiver or pass catcher?
No, pass catcher.
Any pass catcher. 3 pass catchers.
Yes.
Will
I mean, if
DJ
Flacco's going to
Moore?
have that many yards, somebody's got to catch the ball, right?
That's true. Will DJ Moore have more receiving yards than Amari Cooper?
No.
Wow. I guess you think the Browns are going to win because you got the Browns in all these. Will DTR take at least 3 snaps in this game?
No.
He took, what, 1 last week?
No, he took 3 last week.
Oh, was
Oh,
3?
he did take 3?
I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was 3.
He
Jeez,
handed it off to Kareem Hunt. He had the sweep to the left.
Yeah.
And he was also in for another Wildcat play.
And
But did he take the snap on that play?
Well, he was in the game. Like, will he be as part of the game for 3 snaps?
Yeah.
I
Because
don't
he
know.
didn't
Well,
take
that's
the
different than
snap on
taking
that.
snaps.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
different
taking
than
the.
taking a snap.
Will the Brown finally? Who will record more sacks in this game? The Browns or the Bears?
The Browns.
Well, it's a clean sweep.
Yeah, she's definitely got the Browns winning Sunday.
I mean, I feel like I should have hedged a little, right? To be
A little
safer,
bit.
but whatever. I'm all in. Consistency. I'm all in.
I
There
love
you
it.
You
go.
believe? Jay said before we were talking about what Flacco's going to do. I said I thought he's going to have 255 yards passing. I don't know. I don't think G gave a specific amount.
Oh, it's over
What do you
3.
got? But so Jay and G got Flacco throwing for over 300 again this week. The Bears are not very good against the pass, or at least they haven't been so far this year, and they lost one of their 2 best pass rushers in Ngakoue. Do you think Flacco has another 300-yard game this week?
I think that I have never, and remember, I've covered Joe Flacco basically since he's been in the league. I covered him so much in Baltimore, maybe more than anybody other than a beat reporter that lived there. I've never seen him have so much fun. I've never seen him play so loose. I've never seen him play so free. I've never seen him play with. It's all that cumulative experience. It's all those cumulative reps. That's all that wisdom that he now has. It's the crunch time. Remember, Joe Flacco put together arguably one of the best playoff runs of the last, 15 years, that year that they won the Super Bowl. All of that is coming into play right now. His body is fresh as it can be for an almost 40-year-old. He knows how fortunate he is to play with a defense like this, a run game like this, a line, even as sort of beat up as it is, but with the guards that he has. I think that I'm just really, really bullish on what Joe Flacco can do for this team right now and what a fit he is in this particular moment for this particular group.
It is amazing.
It's
Indeed.
infectious. I'm what do they call it? Flacco fever. I have Flacco fever.
You do have Flacco fever. It is crazy. And who knows how he'll do the rest of the year? Maybe he'll fall apart because he's 39. I don't know.
They had Dobbs fever in Minnesota a couple weeks ago.
Right. So who knows?
But right now, let's ride it while we can.
Right now,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I see the way he's played these 2 games, and I'm like, I don't understand why nobody called him the whole season. Can you explain that?
Well, I mean, this is the nature of the whole quarterback thing. I mean, there's no position that has more groupthink or wrong assessments. And you guys know I love Josh Dobbs. He's one of my all-time favorites ever. But Joe Flacco has a body of work and a body of experience that Josh Dobbs never had.
Yeah, I'm
so
just
I don't
warning
think it's
against. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But a couple of weeks ago, Dobbs was the national media darling on their national TV game.
Of course.
And now he's back on the bench. Difference between he and Flacco is miles and years, but it can happen.
But I think the piece about Flacco that, look, he can clearly still sling the ball. He's still got the arm strength. You're never going to question how he can read a defense or make a smart decision, any of those things. The piece is that all those years that he was in Baltimore, one of the knocks on him, it was one of, just like all of us, our best traits are sometimes our most derided traits. One of his best traits is how level and even and calm and all of that he was. Joe Cool, that's who he was. It's funny, it's what we say about Kevin Stefanski. But one of the knocks at the same time was that he was too level and he was too cool and he didn't show enough emotion. And sometimes you need to juice up your teammates with your own emotion. And he's playing with that emotion now. He's telling his teammates, hey, guys, I feel like a 10-year-old kid. Thanks for having me be a part of this. He's showing that smile. He's reveling in David Bell laughing as he crosses the goal line. All of that is sort of the thing that Joe Flacco once got knocked on. He appreciates this moment and his kids getting to see what he's doing.
Sure.
All of that, There are a lot of injuries. Everybody has a lot of injuries. I was laughing. Jim Shorts was saying, how did he phrase it? He was like, this game doesn't care if we have injuries. Well, just a couple weeks ago, the Steelers defensive coordinator was saying nobody gives a bleep that the Steelers had injuries. Like, yeah, that's the nature of the game. The Browns are so different with Denzel Ward, without Denzel Ward. But let's see what Ronnie Hickman does. I covered him in the preseason when what did he have? He had 3 picks in that one game?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, who knows? Maybe Ronnie Hickman is going to Wally Pip somebody right now.
That's right.
Go ahead.
One of the things that we've talked about is the fact that, the old saying, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. I have theorized that Joe Flacco, who I found this hilarious, had purchased the NFL package. Then I think about
Sunday ticket.
He purchased the Sunday ticket so he could sit on his couch and watch a season of football
I don't know
games.
why that's funny. I'm
When
sorry.
I heard it, I laughed my ass off too. I'm like, wow, now he's actually part of that product. And what I think happened here, because I know that G and I have both experienced it, when you do something for the bulk of your life and it's taken from you, and I was telling G, when I stopped playing baseball, I actually had dreams of putting on my uniform and getting ready to toe the rubber.
Oh.
And I would wake up and I would almost be on the edge of tears because I would be like, I'm never going to do that again.
It's crazy, man.
And when I came back and started playing again, I was like 13 all over again because I had the thing that was probably most important to me in my life outside of my family back in my life. And I wonder if that's what Joe's going through, because he was on the couch for 11 weeks, 12 weeks. He must have thought it's not going to happen.
I 100%. I think there's a greater appreciation when you don't have something. I mean, look, I feel it this way about my own season. I've been start and stop because I'm sharing my crew with someone. And it's funny because 2 weeks ago, I was in New England in Foxborough in a monsoon in a 6-0 game. I mean, everything. But I had just sat for 3 weeks. And it's so funny that, I mean, I think according to me, I think I had a monster game and I had a great time. I had so much fun standing in a monsoon watching some very, very suspect football. But it's because the previous 3 weeks I'd had to sit on my couch and I couldn't do it. So definitely there's a truth to that. But Jay, do we not know, because I haven't asked Joe myself, did he buy whatever the Sunday ticket package is now called because he expected his children could watch him? Because eventually he'd be somewhere in some city out of market. And so that was...
Well, McNuggets has something he wants to add to that. The answer that I heard, I don't think that was part of the answer, but maybe I missed it.
So Joe and Ryan Clark
when I
this.
talk to him, I'll be like, Joe,
yeah,
you
dig
need
down
to
on
frame
that.
it a little bit differently.
No, I know why.
This
He's
was the power of
we know the answer,
seeing
Aditi.
it into belief.
Okay,
So
Mike?
he auditioned for Inside the NFL with Ryan Clark.
He did.
He bought
Allegedly.
it, so he knew more
did he
about
confirm that? I know Ryan said that, but did he confirm that? Did Joe confirm that?
Ryan's not going to say it on TV if it didn't really happen. I mean, you know Ryan. I know Ryan. When Ryan said it, I took it as gospel. What stunned me was I hadn't heard it previously.
Yeah, so there was
I think
that,
Joe
and I'm
is
assuming he
probably
bought
keeping
it.
his options open. I think it's smart to keep your options open,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
What,
We're
So,
glad
but
he's here.
McNuggets,
Yeah.
you're saying he bought it as part of his homework.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna host Inside the NFL, which is kind of that holy grail one show you want to see,
You better know the
I
teams.
better know everything. I better watch everything. So but I just found it interesting that the man paid for it and now he's part of the product. It's a great story.
Well, Aditi, let me ask you this. I've been saying it. I've been trying to get it in front of it. I don't like this. I don't like the fact that Joe Flacco is playing well and the fact that he has no contracts. I would offer him a 2-year deal. I'd offer him the 2-year deal right now with a team option.
You want him to come be in the quarterback room, be Deshaun's backup next year?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right now, I'm giving him the contract.
Maybe. Well, maybe.
Aditi, have we ever seen more value in a backup quarterback than this year?
I completely agree with you, and I love the idea of having a veteran backup. Like all those years that I covered the Giants, and you had a David Carr who was smart and heady, had been a starter in the league. All these years that the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger had a Charlie Batch or a Bruce Gradkowski, guys that could really offer value and not just the young buck that you were developing. I like that.
Yeah.
And it's why I like Josh Dobbs in this room.
Yeah,
It's
when I
why
first
I wish
said it, I
that
thought
they-
I was going to get attacked on the set for saying it.
Oh, no.
But I
No.
have learned my lesson, and I hope the Browns have too.
Right.
You cannot have a backup quarterback he's almost out of the test tube what you want in a backup quarterback. No diminished arm strength. He's won a Super Bowl. His confidence is off the chart. He's smart enough. His college coach who recruited him was on the show, and he goes, Joe, if nothing else, is a master at assessing the situation. He knows he's not going to come in here and say, this is my team. He's coming in here saying, I'm a placeholder, and I'm going to do the best I can to get this team where it wants to go. He's
nobody's
a veteran.
giving him a contract right now.
And one other
I
piece
would,
to that.
because someone's going to offer him a contract for next year. Why not us?
He's also, Jay, a good human.
Yes.
He's an Alex Smith who will mentor the young guy behind him, Patrick Mahomes, even though he knows he's losing his job to that person. He's Ryan Tannehill, who's lost his job to Will Levis, but is still helping Will Levis every week. Joe Flacco is not going to sit on the bench and sabotage Deshaun Watson or sit here and say, I could do this better. So I think that's another huge piece of this puzzle as well.
Aditi, last thing, are the Steelers finally done? If they lose to the Colts, the season's over, I think. They're the only team of the group of 11 that looks like it's going in the wrong direction.
This feels like Groundhog
Are
Day.
they finally going under 500? What do you say?
In that group of 6 to 11, yes, the Steelers are most definitely the worst in that group to 6 to 11. Remember, I'm married to a Steelers fan. He gets angry every single time I say this, but this is an organization that needs some reset. That does not mean running Mike Tomlin out of town. It just means that you need, and I was on the radio yesterday saying this here in town, Mike Tomlin may be A through X. He is not Y, he is not Z. And so strong ownership needs to address Y and Z, and then you'll have who you want. A through X is a heck of a lot better than just about any coach out there, but the things holding the Steelers back right now are Y and Z. The only person that can change Y and Z are the Steelers owners. And Adam, you and I were both in the New York market when John Mara went to Tom Coughlin and said, we love you for all of these reasons, but the strict Martinet you are, the fact that you are not showing your players who you are as a grandfather and creating that connective tissue, that's got to change, or you're not going to still be here. Tom Coughlin took that under advisement. He changed, and then he won 2 Super Bowls in 4 years?
Yep.
The same thing needs to happen in Pittsburgh, and I don't know that it happens if the Steelers once again back into the playoffs and lose in the first round.
Right. They do have to take that step back before they take that step forward in the macro.
I mean, look, Russell Wilson said it to me earlier this year, week 2, we had the Broncos, and Russell Wilson said, as awful as last year was, he sat here and he thought, you know what, if you want to climb another mountain in life, you need to get back down in the valley. You have to come down off of one mountain to climb another one. Mountains aren't attached like
That's well said.
So I think there's value in that. And the Steelers have kind of just been middling for, a dozen years now?
Is Aditi doing analogies now?
Listen, I love the analogies
you doing
that she
Christmas
just gave.
analogy? What's going on?
She's kind of like...
but that was the Russell Wilson one. I don't know if I'm allowed to take credit for that one, am I?
Well, but you brought it to the table. She's kind of channeling her inner G. Bush.
She's scheming now.
She's
I like the
it.
scheming.
Aditi, have a great
Ryan.
week. What game are you calling this
All right,
weekend?
keep track of my votes. So next week we can assess how
Yes,
right I
we
was
will.
on
Right.
this.
What game do you have this weekend?
Texans and Titans. Somebody please say a prayer to the concussion gods for CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
And
no
for my
kidding.
I'm
fantasy
assuming he's not
Very
going to play.
different if the Texans have CJ Stroud, there have been 2 quarterbacks that cleared concussion protocol in 1 week. Brock Purdy and Derek Carr. So it's not totally out of the realm of possibility.
The only reason I don't think he's going to play is because Vegas has the Titans as the favorite. So,
But that line can change.
I know.
Aditi, thanks. Have a great call, and we'll see you next week.